In keeping with the restrictions for COVID-19, we have taken every opportunity to socially distance and bring Kwanzaa to you in the convenience of your own home. Now, let's begin our celebration. It is customary to begin the celebration by lighting the candles for Kwanzaa. The first candle in the middle is a black candle, and it represents who?
The people.
The other candles are red and green respectively, and the red candle represents what?
The blood.
And the green candle represents what?
The land.
The land, free the land. So, it is customary to begin lighting the candles from the center and alternating from right to left. So we will now light the first candle for the principle of Umoja. That will be followed by Kujichagulia, the red candle, Ujima, green, Ujama, fourth principle, Nia, fifth day, Kuumba, creativity, and last but certainly not least, the principle of faith. And in keeping with that custom, we pour libation. Kwanzaa is a wonderful time for you to reflect on how far you've come and on whose shoulders you stand. We will take this time out now to pour libations for all of those ancestors who have gone on before us, who live on in our hearts, and their spirit will live on forever in our communities. These are community ancestors. And we say Ashe after we pour each one. Billy Charles.
Ashe.
Dr. Morris FX Jeff
Ashe.
Jr.
Touch Maria. Ashe.
Ashe.
Touch
Lloyd's
Maria.
Ivy.
Ashe. Amy Alexander. Ashe.
Ashe.
I want to pour this libation for Robert Charles,
Ashe.
the brother who was in the massacre that was up here in Central City in the 1900s. I want to lift his name up, Robert Charles.
Ashe.
Mark Essex. Ashe. Any other names for the community? Ashe.
Falani Suni Ali.
Ashe.
Myrtle McGee.
Ashe. So we call on those ancestors known and unknown to us. We lift them up, we elevate their spirit, and we say their names. Ashe.
Ashe.
Kwanzaa, like other celebrations, has its symbols. The symbols of Kwanzaa are the mkeka, which is a straw mat. It represents the foundation for which all else rests. The kinara, which is the candle holder. It represents our ancestors or our parents' stock. The Mashuba Saba, which are the 7 candles, which represent the 7 principles that are celebrated each day of Kwanzaa. The Kikombe Cha Umoja, which is a unity cup, which we use to pour libations. The Babunzi or the Muhindi are the ears of corn, which represent the children. The children are so important. For each child in the home, you should have 1 ear of corn. If there is not a child in the home, you still have an ear of corn, which represents the potential for regeneration, because every kernel on the corn represents a seed. Then we have our mazal, which are the crops, which represents the fruits of our labor during this harvest festival time. Then we have the zawadi, which are the gifts. They can be handcrafted items, they can be books, calendars, dolls, even services that we extend and share with one another. Gifts are not exchanged just because, but because we are honoring commitments that are kept throughout the year, and are particularly rewards to children who have kept their commitments and who have done well in school or in their community or helping around the house. We thank you and we look forward to The program this evening, which is sponsored by Christian Unity Baptist Church, where Reverend Dr. Kevin U. Stevens is the senior pastor. And now we will have Dr. Lisa Green Derry to reflect on the principle of Imani.
Sure. So what is faith? Another word that we use for Imani. The word faith as a noun, a somewhat abstract concept, is what many of us are accustomed to. Faith has been used to explain what it means to have a strong belief or allegiance to a person or a way of thinking or being. For some of us, Imani, the Swahili word to which we refer as the seventh principle of Kwanzaa, it brings to our mind faith in action, a way to take that which we have believed, that which we are choosing to unbelieve, and to begin rewriting a narrative through the eyes of those who have lived and died before us. Rewriting the narrative to support substance and assuredness of that which is not just history, but herstory also. Now, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen and was not made out of what was visible. Faith in action, assured being, seeing, commanding, living, loving, marching, and moving. How can we faith? Yes, we have come this far by faith, by doing, by being, by trusting, by leaning, by believing. This concept called faith is one of action. It requires moving and doing or choosing to refrain from when bright lights lead the way or in darkness, guided by memories of steps previously taken. Action is essential. Yes, we have come this far by faith, by remembering, forgetting, being reminded, and then remembering again. This life we walk, the sidewalks and the streets on which we crawl, we skip, we dance, weary sometimes, teary-eyed and wide-eyed, they have been prepared for us by those gone before us. Yes, we have come this far by faith through this beautiful and sometimes beguiling duality of not knowing, but remembering. Forgetting more than someone in the future will ever know. Rocky roads, stony and slippery stairs have reminded us that it has not been nor of ourselves that we have come to this place called now. We have come this far by faith of our mothers, our fathers, their fathers, our sisters and brothers whose blood we smell in the mask of the smiles we often wear. Yet, with a steady beat, in action, we have come this far by faith. Have we come to stay in or in the tradition of our forebearers? Do we lean in? Do we move on? Do we move out, stand and sit firm when necessary? Who are we encouraging? Who are we calling and leading to a higher place of faith, actionable faith? Who are we following to a higher place of communion, coming together with and for intentional purpose of saving and providing assurance and affirmation of worthiness of love, love simply because we all have been fearfully and wonderfully made by the Creator. As our ancestors hover, witness, whisper, speak clearly and in sometimes coded language, as they remind us that faith is about a future aligned in treasures of hope. Are we in position for faith? Are we in position to fully anticipate inspired tenacity of hope? In this, we've come this far by faith moment, the year 2020, we have to faith forward. Though we see things as challenging and sometimes insurmountable, we have to challenge our intellect, our intuition, our integrity to go further, to even relish sometimes the pain that often births blessings. We are called to live out faith in a disruptive manner. Faith that says we've been seeking. Our spirits tell us that what is being presented as just and good is not at all righteous. Disruptive faith requires us to use Sankofa moments, reminders from those of our ancestors who sought and lived righteously. We are to use those moments to break from mere existence, to break in, to thrive, to resist complacency, to resist tiredness and weariness. Disruptive faith requires us to, even in pain and despair, to reach up, to reach out, to reach in, and release the life-giving force that is in our blood, literally and figuratively. To save ourselves from that which has been presented as right and just, and to follow God, to follow the Creator of all things, to allow the nurturing of Mother God to point us to that which manifests in the wisdom of daily living. We are being called to a higher place of faith, running toward justice with weapons of intellect and love, weapons of forgotten herstory and love, resisting anger with anticipation of liberty and love. To faith forward, we can fully anticipate inspired, thriving hope. I'll leave you with an example of fully anticipated, inspired, thriving hope through an excerpt from Mostly Sunny, Partly Dramedy in between, my newly released book. One of our ancestors, a giver of life, Reverend Audrey Jackson Johnson, is the focus of this piece. In full awareness, intentionally touching with hope, she faithed many. She faithed me. Some of you, she may have even faithed. You saw beauty even when life was tattered and torn. You praised, prodded, and prayed when life was shredded and torn. When the peace of God eluded, you directed to his word. Through his spirit and your availability, pieces of dreams were born. God gifted you with love, wisdom, and care expressed with a deep abiding passion. That passion you passed on. And so we continue the legacy of one who reminds us of the truth in beauty for ashes. These pieces, some shredded, broken, mismatched, and worn, are reminders. No, they are reflections of the beauty of love, spirit, care, and compassion so warm. When life was broken, disheveled, mismatched, and sometimes forlorn, you held, chided, and now. The question becomes, how are you faithing? Whose life are you helping to ensure faith? Whose life are you helping to ensure a future aligned in treasures of hope? Faith on.
Hi, I'm Nancy, and I'm from Christian Unity Baptist Church. And I just want to piggyback on what Reverend Lisa said about faith, because faith is all that our ancestors had, and faith is all that we have. So we've come this far, and we'll continue to go far by faith. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He's never failed me yet, saying, oh, 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 can't turn around. We come this far by faith. We've come this far by faith. Oh, yes, we have. Leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He's never failed me yet, by faith.
It is truly an honor to be able to gather together here and in our homes to celebrate the final day of Kwanzaa and the principle of faith. As we go forward into the new year, let us remember that we practice the principles of Kwanzaa 365 days in a year, that it should not be over until next December 26th, but that we should constantly practice the principles of umoja, unity, kujichagulia, self-determination, ujima, collective responsibility, ujamaa, familyhood and cooperative economics, nia, purpose, kaumba, creativity, and as we celebrate today, Imani, faith. Let us not lose faith in our Creator, in our parents, in our children, in our community. Let us hold on to the faith of our ancestors and pass it on to our children so that we can continue. I would like to close this evening's celebration with Sifa Praise by Mtamishi St. Julian. May we always remember those who have gone before us. May we be inspired by their vision and valor. May their lives continuously remind us that service is more important than success, that people are more important than possessions, that principle is more important than power. May whatever we do be shaped and molded by honesty, competence, and commitment. May our children and our children's children carry forth with pride the nobility of our history and tradition. To the Creator of all of us, we dedicate our lives to make this world better and more beautiful. Harambe.
And in keeping with that, let's get ready for the Harambe. Let's pull together. We ask that you stand. Open palm in the air. When you pull down, close it and pull it down. You're reaching up and pulling down power. Each time you do it, you say Harambe for 7 times. You ready? 3. Harambe! 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 Harambe!
So many MCs focusing on black people extermination. We keep it balanced with that knowledge of self-determination.
Thank you for celebrating the 2020 virtual Kwanzaa with us. We invite you to celebrate Kwanzaa in your homes with your families and to share it with your children. Please take the time to visit a black bookstore and buy some gifts for your children, to spend time with your children and make gifts, and to share the history of Kwanzaa with your family. In addition to these virtual programs, we also have some socially distanced, COVID responsible live events. Starting with on Kaumba night, we will have a night bike ride starting at 7 p.m. meeting at the French Market. There will be bikes available for you to rent, and the event is free. We will also have the Kwanzaa Walk, which is on the last day of Kwanzaa. Mama Asetawa, take it away.
On January 1st, the Kwanzaa Walk Run will happen on January 1st at City Hall at the track by the Duck Pond, right across from the New Orleans Museum of Art.
City Park.
This is, by City Park by the New Orleans Museum of Art. That's where the track is. And the event is free. It's for children and adults. Let's begin the new year off by doing something physical so we can get on our health game and we can beat the pandemic and live healthy, fruitful lives.
We would like to thank our sponsors who made this virtual Kwanzaa possible, the African American Resource Collection and the Friends of the New Orleans Public Library, Ashe Cultural Arts Center, Community Book Center, Kumbuka African Dance and Drum Collective, NOLA Tours, People's Institute, Show Fresh, and Black Film Festival of New Orleans. We'd also like to thank our participants, starting with
Kulu Traditional African Dance Company and the Umoja Committee. Also, the New Orleans chapter of the Black Panther Party.
We would like to thank Studio B, Brandon B. Mike Odoms, Sister Sonny Patterson, Christopher Williams, LA the rapper, owner of Vaku. We also would like to thank Christina C. Freedom.
We'd like to thank Who's Coming With Me, and we'd also like to thank the Ujima EDC.
The Ujima EDC, along with the New Orleans Association of Black Social Workers and Christian Unity Baptist Church. And we encourage you to come by Community Book Center for all your Kwanzaa supplies and needs. We're located at 2523 Bayou Road here in New Orleans, Louisiana.
And we'd like to thank you for tuning in.
Thank you and happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa!